Hi, everybody. Welcome back to yoga. Let's get started. Today we're going to start in good old prayer pose. Yes. So find your way down to your mat and come into a beautiful, relaxing prayer pose. Let your forehead rest on the mat. I'm opening my knees slightly just so that my belly can kind of hang through my thighs. My hands are pressed firmly down onto the mat, especially the base of the thumb area. And if you want, you can just gently do a little rock side to side here. Just coming into our body, coming into our yoga practice. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And maybe sigh it out. Couple more of those. The good thing about doing yoga in your own home is that you can make all the weird noises that you want to. So go ahead and use sound as a way of releasing into that exhale. We're just going to do a very simple inhale, coming all the way up onto all fours, pressing the hips down towards the mat and looking up. And then exhale, pressing the hips back into prayer. And we're just going to do this as our meditation, as our kind of moving meditation to bring ourselves into our yoga practice today. So really want you to focus on that deep, long inhale as you stretch forward and a release into that exhale as you come back to prayer. So let's just kind of settle in here. A mobility flow, matching the movement of the breath with the movement of the body. Take all the time you need in either place, in either pose. If you want to hang out in prayer for a breath, rounding those shoulders away from each other and down towards the mat, or hang out here in cobra. Maybe move your head around, your neck around, whatever feels good. One more time. And I'll meet you down in prayer pose. Go ahead and bring the hands down to the heels and grab hold of those heels. And this time, take the top of your head to the mat in front of you and then lift the spine towards the ceiling to get that amazing stretch between the shoulders and the shoulder blades. I'm rocking a little bit side to side here. Feels so good. Lift the belly button towards the spine. And then when you're ready, come on down. Press all the way up onto your knees. Place your hands, fingers facing down. And take a nice inhale, squeezing the shoulders behind you, chin to chest. And then on the exhale, just press the pelvis forward, tight glutes, and look up. Squeeze those elbows behind you for camel pose. Good, coming out of that nice and just have to adjust my view here because I suddenly don't see myself. Okay. And make your way onto all fours. We're gonna do a little cat-cow here. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round, look down. Really articulating each vertebrae of the spine. And then we're going to do a nice circle with the ribs. So take the ribs to the right, drop through cat, circle the rib cage to the left, and round through cow, or sorry, this is cow, and this is cat. So we're just circling the ribs, tracing a circle with the rib cage to the right. If you want to bend those elbows towards the mat, that's fine to add a little extra arch, and then switch directions. So move in that side to side circular motion. And then we're gonna come back to neutral, and then we're gonna circle the hips to the right. So we're gonna roll through cobra, and then left, the hips go left and back into prayer. Hips go right, through cobra, left, and prayer. Try the other direction. Left, cobra, right, and prayer, and left, cobra, right, and prayer. Awesome. Coming back up to all fours. Let's just take the palms and flip them over. So our palms are facing up. Press out of the shoulders. Don't let your kind of neck fall in between the shoulders. And then just gently send the hips back about 4 inches. Just to stretch those wrists out. Spend so much time with the wrists kind of in weird positions at our computer, in the car. It's nice to give them a little bit of attention. Go ahead and flip those. Tuck the toes under and sit back on your toes. Let's stretch those toes out and go ahead and just shake the hands from top to bottom. Kind of like you're shaking water off. And also sort of shaking off the stress of the day from the top of your head all the way down. Good. Coming back onto all fours. Activating the heel. So that heel is stomping the wall behind us. And we're going to lift that left arm up. If you're just joining, welcome, welcome. We're kind of moving in slowly but surely. This is your time. So I'm just here to guide and give you some basic structure, but you know what your body needs today. So please modify anything for your specific needs today. And bring that back down. Take a nice breath. Send the left leg out. Activate that heel, stomp the wall behind you, and then lift the right arm. So you really want to feel like your core, your abs are like a silver platter holding your spine. So the muscles of the abdominals are the silver platter holding the spine. That's kind of a Halloween image. Silver platter holding a spine. And then come back onto all fours. Go ahead and kickstand that left leg out and to the side so that you can stretch the right leg out and stack the right hip on top. Scoot over on top of the left. Go ahead and lift that leg off the ground. take the arm up, and if you want, take the arm over. Feel that length from fingertip to toe. Breathe here. If you want, you can look under the armpit. Go ahead and tap that foot down to the ground. Bring your torso up. Keep your toe gate pose. So my right arm is sliding down my right leg, and my left arm is curving up and over, and I'm looking under that left armpit. Try to keep some space between your shoulder and your ear. We're going to go back down, so stretch that hand to the floor. Exhale, push off the mat, come back into gate. And we're just going to flow here between these two poses, all the way up and over, right angle. And then pushing off the mat and into gate. Finding the activation, the full body, the length, the lines, the curves. And one more time, big sweep of the arm and big curve of the arm. Beautiful. Kickstand that leg back in, bring the knees in, and let's tuck the toes one more time. And shake those wrists, top to bottom, shake it off. Shake the day off. Shake all those little things in your head like dust, just shaking it off. I'm gonna switch around so I can do this facing you. We're gonna take the left leg up, and then we're gonna kickstand that right bottom leg behind us so we can stack the left hip on top of the right. And we're gonna reach the arm up just to get our balance here. And then when we're ready, we can lengthen the arm up and over. I'm pointing my foot because it feels nice to feel that line, that straight line that I can create with my from my toe to my tips of my fingers. But if you want, you can keep your foot flexed. Try to keep the chest open, looking under that armpit, but keeping the shoulder dropped. And then when you're ready, push off the mat, come into that gate pose, toes are forward, and sweep the right arm up and over. Breathe here, keeping again, open up that shoulder. See if you can slide those fingers down a little further on the leg with each exhale. And then we're gonna just do our flow. So we find our nice big sweep and stretch, and then we come back up and find our curve and flow in between. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Find your flow, whatever works for you. Last one. Beautiful. All right. Pose and press into down dog. So this is our first down dog of the day, probably. So go in slow, tread the feet if you need to. Play with your down dog if you need to, if you want to, whatever that might mean. You might want to move one leg around in the hip joint a little bit, and then the other. You might want to spread the feet a little wider. wrapping and opening those shoulders out and away from each other, pressing the base of the thumb into the mat. Find your down dog, and then go ahead and bend the knees. Bend the knees so you can press back a little bit. Your belly might touch your thigh, and then we're gonna press forward into plank. And then come back, bending the knees. Kind of like we did at the beginning of class with our prayer and our cobra. Now we're doing this with down dog, bended knee, down dog, and plank. And I like to think of this as kind of a full body engine rev, like we're revving up the engine here of our body. Exhale as you press into plank. And then I'll meet you back in down dog. And let's lift that right leg up in the air for a minute, just finding that balance before we swing it through and step the foot between the hands, and go ahead and just drop the knee and untuck the toe and make your way up to vertical here. Let's take the arms up and let's take them into prayer above our head. Now I'm pressing the pelvis forward, so I'm not on my knee. The pelvis is equal distance between both knees. I'm gonna lift the chest towards where the ceiling meets the wall, and I'm gonna invert my prayer at the base of my neck. So your head is being held at the bottom of your position. And you can release that. Place the hands on the mat and push the pelvis back. Flex that right foot. And if you want, you can move the leg in the hip joint by turning the toes, opening the toes to the right, and then turning the toes to the left. You can see how that rotates the whole leg all the way up to the hip joint. And that's gonna feel weird and good. And then find a nice sweet spot. See if you can lengthen the spine for a minute. You might need to come up on the tips of your fingers. So you want to see if you can kind of lengthen the spine. And then when you find that length, release the torso over that front leg. Woo! Getting that really deep hamstring stretch in the right hamstring. Bring the hands to the inside of the foot. Lift the foot off the floor. Swing the leg all the way behind you. Yes. Bring the knee into the nose and extend. Into the nose and extend. 3 more. Find your breathing pattern. Where do you want to inhale? And where do you want to exhale? Try to make it even and thoughtful. But don't worry about it. If there's a couple extra breaths in there, no worries. Bring that leg down, tuck the toes, and come into down dog one more time. Tread the feet. Settle into down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Find that balance before you bend the knee and swing it through. Step between the hands. Lower the right knee, untuck the toe. Bring the torso up. Take the arms up. Hands to prayer. And then point those fingers down the middle of your back as you lift the chest. Open up the elbows. Breathe. And release those hands down. Send the pelvis back. Flex that to rotate that leg left and right. You may not get a lot of range of motion there. Whatever is happening is what's supposed to be happening. Good. Go ahead and lengthen here. See, I need to actually almost comes up to completely lengthen. Then place the hands out in front of that foot and drape the torso over the leg. Breathe here. Placing both hands to the inside of the foot. Lift that foot. Trace a nice big arc all the way around. Don't hit anything in your room. And then let's take some nice tucks with the knee to the nose, and then an extension, stomping that back wall with your flexed foot. Five of these in total, so probably about 3 more. And then find your way back to neutral. Tuck those toes. Find your way back into down dog. And down dog is a really great resting pose. It's a place that you can come to as well as prayer or child's pose. All 3 of those are great places to go to at any point in the class when you need to reset. Good, then kind of roll through the spine, lifting the heels and then tucking the pelvis. Roll through the spine vertebrae by vertebrae before you get into plank. Go ahead and drop the knees to the floor, keeping the elbows close to the rib cage. Drop your belly onto the mat. Pull the mat towards you as you lift into cobra. And then release. And then push onto the knees. And come back. Let's come into child's pose with the hands down by our heels. And just kind of settle here for a minute. We just generated some heat. So we want to let that heat kind of circulate and simmer. Beautiful. Coming all the way up. One more time. Sending the right leg out to the right, toes forward. Hands are right in front of us underneath our shoulders. We're just going to push the hips back. Oh, feel that delicious inner thigh stretch. And then come forward and go just about 5 inches past, the shoulders should go about 5 inches past the wrists. And then back again. This is a gentle and slow movement. Again, we're working mobility here so that we can get into some of these poses and hold them using our strength. So mobility and then strength and then mobility again at the end of class. Good. What could we do here? You know what? Let's take that right arm out also. So the right arm is out with the leg. And then let's tuck it under the left arm, resting on our cheek. Good. You can press into the floor to also actually rotate the head so you're even looking up at the ceiling. And you should feel, if you push the hips back slightly, you should feel a nice stretch underneath the shoulder blade, but also in that inner thigh. So we're kind of getting 2 spots at once. If you want, you can even lift the left arm off the floor and put it on your waist, looking over that left shoulder. Pressing the left palm back onto the floor, bring yourself upright, and let's switch sides. Send the left leg out, toes forward. And we're gonna do that nice gentle rock back and forth. So the pelvis comes back, sits bones kind of touch the heel, and then we walk forward, shoulders about 5 inches in front of the wrist. This is another wrist stretch. So we're getting a lot of mobility in different places here. Slow and steady wins the race. Gentle, compassionate work here. Coming all the way up, we're going to do our little creative twist. We take that left arm out. We weave it underneath the right arm. We can rest on our cheek for a minute while we kind of adjust that right hand. And then also send the weight of the pelvis back towards the heel. You can stay here, or you can take your right hand to your waist and kind of twist your head so you kind of look over your right shoulder. Bringing your right hand back to the floor next to your cheek, come on back. Bring that leg in. Crisscross applesauce. And reconnect with our vertical torso. And from here, let's do our pranayama, our 20 breaths. You can do it standing if you wish. You can do it on your knees if you wish. This is just a moment in our class where we kind of always try to mark the middle of the class with a return to the breath. So we're going to inhale as we reach the arms up and look up. And we exhale as we bring the arms down in prayer to heart center. We're going to do that 20 times. You can play with the rhythm of your breath. You can do it fast. You can do it fast, slow. You can start slow, speed up. It's all your own creative arc. But we try to do 20 breaths just to reinforce that life force, pranayama, our breath, our anchor. Whenever you're ready, you can begin. Couple more. Last one, leave those arms up, interlace the fingers and send the palms to the ceiling. Keep the forearms or the upper arm by your ears. See if you can walk the right shoulder up a ladder and then the left shoulder onto that ladder. And then see if you can go a few more ladder steps up with each shoulder, one at a time. Look at how far you can actually get those shoulders up the ladder. Woo, keeping that expanse in the waist and the rib cage. Extend the arm. Bring the hands to the knees and let's just arch, look up and round, scooping the belly down, chin to chest. Couple more. Inhale as you arch. Exhale as you contract. And that's a good rule of thumb if you're ever lost with your breath in yoga. Extending the body, reaching the body, elongating the body. It's natural to inhale. And contracting the body, curling the body, rounding the body. It's natural to exhale. So that's always a good mantra, if you will. Extend, inhale, contract, exhale. Good. And let's just take the right arm up and over, taking the elbow close to the mat, looking under that armpit, rounding the right shoulder down, take the palm to the floor. Can you get your forehead to your knee? But can you also initiate and root the rooting of the right hip down? Ooh, walk the fingertips of that right hand a little further away from the right hip. Keep the forehead on the left knee. Do you feel that amazing hip to fingertip stretch? Walk the hands forward and then slowly walk the hands back up. Go ahead and extend the legs, shake them out, and then recross with the other one in front. We'll do the other side. Left arm comes up on the inhale, exhale, elbow reaching towards the mat, rooting the opposite hip down, shoulder dropping. And then when you're ready, rounding that left side of the body down towards the mat, forehead rests on the knee. Root the left hip down into the mat while you walk the fingertips of the left hand further away from the left hip. Walking the hands center. All right. I'm gonna get some water, stand up, and we'll do a few standing poses. Okay, wonderful. Let's do eagle today. Now, I like to start with eagle, and I can even get my block out, which is kind of fun. If you have a block and you want to have a little support, sometimes I just put the block on the outside of my standing leg. I cross my right leg over and I just let my toe kind of rest on the block. Now, you know, another step would be to actually tuck that toe behind. I can't really do it anymore. If you can tuck your toe behind your standing leg, that's fine. I'm gonna go with more support today. I'm crossing my right leg over my left thigh and my right toe is resting on my block. You can also just have it rest on the floor. I like having the block because I can get my thigh over my other thigh. So my standing leg is slightly bent. I'm going to take my arms out. I'm going to cross the right arm underneath the left. And then I'm going to see if I can get those hands together, the palms together. And then I'm going to lift the elbows. Now, if you can't get the palms together, just try to get the back of the hand together. So no worries there. There was a long time where some of you know I had a frozen shoulder and I couldn't do this at all. So yes, change can happen. Sit a little deeper. Lift the elbows a little higher. Breathe. Beautiful. Uncross those arms, stand tall, uncross the legs. And if you are using a block, switch sides. Standing leg bends, left leg crosses over right. Reaching those arms out. I'm leaning forward slightly, so I'll give you the profile view on this one. Your torso is in a slight diagonal. On this side, we're going to take the left arm and go. Yeah, we're going to take the left arm under and around. Sit a little deeper in your standing leg. Lift the elbows a little higher. Breathe. Eagle pose. Uncross those arms and release the leg. Something that's kind of fun to do every once in a while is to bring eagle arms into other poses that we do. So let's try and do that a little bit today. I'd love to do eagle arms with warrior 3. The best way to get in, the easiest way to get into warrior 3, I think, is from crescent. So let's start at the top of our mat. Take a nice deep breath in just to clear the space. Reach up. Exhale. All the way through, dive into your forward fold. Shake your tail, shake your head no, shake your head yes. Good. Come up halfway. Just stretch that back. Come up halfway to a flat back. And then release all the way forward one more time into your forward fold. And then bend the knees, roll through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then from mountain, all we're gonna do is step that right leg back and swoop those arms up into crescent pose. So let's just find our crescent pose. Shoulders dropped, chest lifted towards where the ceiling meets the wall. Nice bent left knee, knee over the ankle. Go ahead and open up the arms. Let's bring the right arm down underneath the left, twist it and come back into your eagle. Lift the elbows. So we have like a crescent with eagle arms. From here, we're gonna shift forward, but we're dropping the elbows down. We're shifting the weight onto that standing leg, and then we're lifting the right leg all the way over as we tilt the torso forward, and we still have our fabulous eagle arms. So we've got warrior 3 with eagle arms. Stepping back into crescent, come all the way up, lift those elbows, release the arms, take a nice deep breath in, sweep those arms up, and then step back to mountain. Let's do a little flow here. Inhale, look up, exhale, dive through, forward fold, shake it out. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, release forward, forward fold, bending the knees, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling back up to mountain. And then taking a step back with the left and coming into crescent on the opposite side. Find your crescent. Activate behind the knee of the left leg. You don't want to lock it, but you want it activated. Glutes are tight. Open up the arms. Left arm comes down and around. Send the elbows up. crescent with eagle arms. Chest is lifted towards where the ceiling meets the wall. Shifting the weight forward. That means you can bring the elbows down, shift the weight onto that standing leg. Slowly lift the left leg so that it's parallel with the floor. And then when you're ready, see if you can engage those eagle arms a little bit deeper by lifting the elbows forward. And when you're ready, bending that standing leg to come into a soft landing with crescent, lifting the elbows. Swing those arms down and up. Feel the beauty of that pose. And come back to mountain. Well, that was exciting. Little challenge there. Let's come back to a very just graceful and simple tree pose. Find your focal point about 6 feet in front of you on the floor. Pressing the bottom of that foot into the inside of the thigh. Send the knee to the side as much as you can. Tight glutes. And then when you're ready, decide what kind of tree you want to be. An oak with crazy arms, crazy trunk branches. A cypress going straight up. A weeping willow. Be playful. And when you're ready, try the other side. Beautiful. All right. Let's make our way back down to the mat, but we'll do it with a little flow. So nice big breath in, sweeping those arms up, look up, exhale, dive through. Big sigh here and forward fold. Woo. Halfway up, inhale. Halfway down, exhale. And then inhale, step those feet back into down dog. Find your down dog. Lifting the right leg off the ground. See how high you can get that leg without lifting the hip. So keep the right hip shining down towards the mat, but see if you can get the leg extended and lengthened. Bringing the knee through, step that leg through and across. And then when you're ready, fall onto the side of your foot and look up for a side angle plank. So my right foot is shooting out in front, my right leg is shooting out in front of me. And then bringing that left hand back to the mat. You can bring that leg back to down dog, and we'll try the other side. First, establish your down dog. Then find that length in the left leg as you extend it off the mat. Keep the left hip bone shining down towards the mat as you see if you can get that leg a little higher than you've ever gotten it before. When you're ready, bend the knee, send it through, and then roll to the side of your foot, coming all the way into that side plank. Lift the right arm off the floor, look up. Breathe, so you can get your hips a little higher. And then look down at the mat. Bring that leg back through and into down dog. Coming into plank. Drop the knees. Slowly but surely, elbows nice and tight to the rib cage. Lower the torso down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, push the hips back into prayer. Right where we started. But note how you might feel a little different. Good. Swing those legs around in front of you. And let's come down onto our back. Feet flat on the ground. You know what? Let's take the right leg on top of the left, as if we were going to do a hip stretch. But instead, we're going to do a one-legged bridge. So hands are down by our sides. We're going to inhale here. On the exhale, we're going to press the pelvis up off the ground. And we're just going to stay here for a minute. I'm pressing my right knee down while my pelvis is pressing up. Ooh, stretch and strengthen at the same time. Breathe. Tight left glute. Tight left glute. And release. Good. Extend that leg, shake it out. Try the other side. Left ankle is resting on the top of the right thigh. Inhale. On the exhale, we're pressing the pelvis up while the left knee presses down. If this feels funny, don't do it. Take the leg off. Just do a regular bridge, 2 feet on the ground. No big deal. I'm trying to be a little creative today. Try new things. And release. Good. Let's come into a regular bridge. So inhale here. Exhale, pressing into our bridge. And then let's just lift the right leg and extend it. And we'll just do a couple of little drops. Tap the heel on the floor and lift. Tap the heel on the floor and lift. Tap the heel on the floor and lift. And then bend that leg. And then extend the left leg. And tap the heel, lift. And tap. And tap. See if you can keep your pelvis high in that bridge. And let's just do 10 pulses. Pulse up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, higher, 7, higher, 8, 9, 10, and release slowly, 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 slowly. Knees to the chest. Hug those knees. Circle those knees. One direction or the other. All right, we're going to do a few core exercises. Coming all the way up. We're going to find that perfect little C curve of the pelvis, and the back is leaning on that diagonal. We're going to have the arms in front of us. We're going to lift that right leg and tap those toes. So we switch, tap, tap. So you should really feel your whole core engaged here. The whole leg is moving. We're not just kicking like we do in the swimming pool. The whole leg is moving from the hip joint. The whole leg So we tap in. Now find your breath. Go ahead, rest, and bring up that torso, lengthen it, maybe take a nice little arch here. Good. Coming down onto our right elbow, we're going to tap either our elbow to our knee, or we're gonna come up and touch our fingertips to our toes. So we're gonna start down on the mat, but our right arm is extended. I'm gonna do elbow to knee. So my left elbow, my left hand is tucked behind my head. I'm gonna come up onto my elbow, and I'm gonna reach to the outside of my right knee, and then I'm gonna come back down. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you come up. Let's try 5 of these. With each exhale, I want you to squeeze all the air that you have inside of you out. Beautiful. Switch sides. Left leg extends, left arm extends, right arm is behind the head. Again, you can do elbow to knee, or if you want to do fingertips to toes, that's fine. Inhale, exhale, tap. Elbow to knee or fingertips to toes. I really want you to cross the elbow or the fingertips to the outside, so you're getting those obliques. We don't do a lot of these, but they are very intense and very complete if you do them slowly and with control, and with that really extreme exhale, squeezing out the breath. I think we have to do one more. Ah. All right, extend, extend, extend. We're gonna take a nice big breath in, arms above the head. On the exhale, we're gonna peel our upper body off the floor, come up to a nice L-shaped seated position, and then drape the torso over the legs for a beautiful seated forward fold. Come back to sitting, and then slowly, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, with control, peel yourself back down. Inhale, arms come above the head. Exhale, peel yourself off the floor. Sit, breathe, drape, stretch. Sit again, back down. The descent is just as important as the ascent. Last one. Go ahead and come into a V-shaped stretch. We'll do a little dancer flow, just soft arc, rainbow up and over. You can point the feet or flex the feet, or move between pointed and flexed feet. So I'm just kind of tracing a rainbow with my arms up and over, side to side. One more time. And we're going to take our arms along the legs. So trace that line, lift, 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 lift out of the waist. Take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, just release the torso down and rest your torso down towards the floor. Now you may not get anywhere near the floor. I'm not, but we're just trying to let gravity do the work for us here. Heavy head. And find your way onto your back. Take a nice deep breath in, stretch the fingertips away from the toes. Inhale, hold the breath, squeeze everything. Squeeze the fingers, the hands, the wrists, the shoulders, the face, the neck, the rib cage, the glutes, the calves, the toes. Hold it all together. Tighter, 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 and then release. Swallow. Remove the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Stick the tongue out and say, ah. And then find your way into Shavasana. Deep relaxation where we honor the work that we've just done by just letting the energy circulate in our bodies. You can stay in Shavasana for as long as you want. Otherwise, we'll close our class today in an easy seated position, hands at heart center, with gratitude and graciousness for this body that was given to us, that lets us twist and stretch and have fun and try new things and be challenged, with gratitude for you showing up to yourself, to your practice, to your wellness, with gratitude for this amazing practice that helps us come closer to ourselves, know ourselves, love ourselves. The spirit in me salutes the spirit in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming.